What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today, we're going to jump back over to Marvel Comics and continue with our X-Men reading order. With that being said, we do pick up with Excalibur #1. Now, this Excalibur series actually takes place in the Jonathan Hickman's era of the X-Men. Of course, as you know, Jonathan Hickman is one of the best writers of Marvel. He came back to Marvel as a way to rework the X-Men to make them better once again. And so after House of X and Power of X, we got a lot of different series as a way to tell us new stories of the X-Men. One of those series is Excalibur, and this team is very interesting because you have Rogue, Gambit, Apocalypse, and also Psylocke and Captain Britain. But with that being said, with this new series, we also get a brand new Captain Britain. And so with that being said, I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video. And if you do, please hit the like button down below and subscribe. But here we go. Now, to begin today's video, we pick up in Otherworld. Otherworld is a pocket dimension, but also a nexus between all dimensions that is connected to the main Marvel universe, also connected to the multiverse. Usually the goal for Otherworld is to protect the pathways to the other dimensions and universe that is connected to. Now, we pick up in Camelot, where usually it is ruled by King Arthur, but he has gone missing. So right now, Morgan Le Fay is the one in charge of the kingdom, but she's not worried about Camelot being attacked. She is worried about what is polluting her well. Some kind of lees had appeared in the well. Of course, she wants answers, and this is going to lead into becoming a problem for the X-Men, or really for Excalibur to be more exact. But then we pick up with Betty Braddock and Brian Braddock, of course, better known as Psylocke and Captain Britain. Now, this is really Captain Britain saying goodbye to his sister, because of course, Krakoa is now open to all mutants, and she is about to go join the mutants on the new island. Now, while they are saying their goodbyes to one another, you do have them bring up the third sibling. Of course, that would be Jamie Braddock, who was an evil mutant and also a really powerful one. Now, he is dead at this point, but the reason why they are bringing him up now is because they were wondering if Krakoa could have changed the way he was. Either way, you do have Betty leave to go to Krakoa and be with the people she had called friends and really became like a family to her. But while Betty is arriving in Krakoa, well, that is the moment we pick up with Apocalypse. Now, Apocalypse is trying to go by a different name because the mutants have made a new language, and he feels like it should be used more. But of course, I'm not, and nor will anyone in the book will try to call him that name. For the mutants, it is because who Apocalypse used to be. He was a bad guy. Either way, you do have Trinary appear, and she has the ability to control technology, but she is coming here to Apocalypse to talk about a new problem. A gate has appeared on Krakoa, but unfortunately, they are unable to actually use it or access it. Now, Apocalypse knows where this portal goes, but no one else does. He just tells Trinary it leads to another realm, but we know it most likely leads into Otherworld. But you do have Apocalypse mention that they need some kind of champion if they want to be able to breach the portal. So now the question is, who is going to be the champion? We then pick up with the Coven Solar of Blackwood. Now, this is not a group we should have to worry about. Honestly, they're just a group of magic users who are actually confronted by Morgan Le Fay herself. Now, the reason why she is here talking to the Coven Solar group is because she wants to know who is polluting her well back in the Otherworld. Now, she claims that magic comes from her in Otherworld, and she has the ability to take the magic away from magic users. But either way, if they want to get their magic back, they are going to have to figure out what is polluting the well of Morgan Le Fay. Of course, we know that it has to be the new gate that has appeared on Krakoa. But getting back to Krakoa, we pick up with Betty arriving in Krakoa, and we see her spending time with some of the mutants. Of course, this is the moment she gets word that her brother Jamie has been brought back to life. Of course, the question is if Jamie is going to go down the path of evil again, or will he change? But then she brings up something else. Brian, aka Captain Britain, needs to know that his brother has come back to life. Except for Jamie, he sees no reason to go see his brother at all. But their conversation is interrupted because Apocalypse appears and asks to talk to Betty. Of course, because about the gate that doesn't work properly. Apocalypse knows that the gate leads into another dimension, but they need an object that can help them teleport into this other dimension. And one person has that object, and that person is, of course, Captain Britain. And there is a big reason why, because of the connection with Otherworld and Captain Britain. The connection is that in Otherworld, there is a place called the Citadel, and of course, Captain Britain Corp is there as well. The Captain Britain Corp is a bunch of Captain Britons from across the multiverse protecting the multiverse. They each protect their own reality, but either way, when Psylocke gets back to her brother, she finds out that he has been called by someone in Otherworld. Of course, we know who that could be, but either way, you have Betty deciding to go with Captain Britain into Otherworld because she believes there could be some kind of trap waiting for him, except she has no idea what kind of trap could be waiting for them. But they do lead to go to Otherworld to deal with this problem. Of course, that is when they find out they were called by Morgan Le Fay, who is, of course, wanting Captain Britain to help her figure out who is hurting her well, because this is all about the well, and she automatically assumes that Captain Britain had already been on the hunt for her and had grabbed his sister Betty, and so she begins to think that Betty is the one who has been messing with her well. But picking up with Rogue and Gambit, of course, we see the two of them are a couple now and spending some time with one another. Honestly, I like how Marvel made it possible for these characters to be together. But either way, that is the moment you have Apocalypse appear and says he needs the help of Rogue to figure out a problem. She can use her powers as a way to damper whatever barrier that is around the gate that no one has access to. Of course, to make Rogue help out, he tells her that Betty is trapped on the other side of the gate. He is hoping that with the gate being weakened, he can talk to Betty through his mind to lead her to the gate to get her out of there. Now, the next section is going to go back and forth between what is going on in Otherworld and Rogue getting ready to use her powers on the gate. Now, in Otherworld, things get worse for Betty. The reason why is because Morgan Le Fay used her powers to make Captain Britain actually fight against his own sister. So now she has to fight against her brother, whose body is not in his control at all. But here comes the big problem though. Right when you have Betty use her powers to make a construct to stab the well, which is the portal to Krakoa, Rogue touches the gate and it sends some kind of feedback, sending Rogue flying back. But when Rogue gets close to it once again, vines begin to grab her and turning her into some Sleeping Beauty looking character, and now they have to find a way to wake her up. But getting back over to Otherworld for the big moment, because with Captain Britain being controlled by Morgan Le Fay, he begins to attack his sister again, except he has something on him, and this item is very important, which is the Amulet of Right. And of course, it makes him Captain Britain, except he gives it to his sister and there is a huge flash. And when we see her again, she is now back on Krakoa, but she has had a huge change in her status quo, which is that now she is the Captain Britain of the Marvel Universe. And with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So if you did enjoy today's comic book video, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video.